So I have an art group that we have it's kind of a drink and draw thing called the Black Sheep. Check it out on Facebook. And if you're in Seattle, you can join us once a month. And a lot of people who go to that also go to my Dungeons and Dragons adventures.
Yeah.
And so we're kind of drawing there, and I came up with this great idea. How about a little one-page, Ben, mini adventure where it's a secret door or a hidden room or something like that. You break in, and there's a mummy in there with tons of cool treasure, right? And it's reminiscent of that scene in the Conan the Barbarian movie where Conan goes in and the mummy king is kind of sitting there, and he's supposed to come to life, but they didn't have enough money to animate him. Well, in Dungeons & Dragons, we can do that because we're just making it up. So I came up with this cool picture. It's like a mummy on steroids. Right? He's a little more hardcore than your average mummy. It's kind of a mix between a mummy and a lich. He's not super powerful like a lich, but he's more powerful than a regular mummy.
Yeah. So we'll do that. It'll just be, we'll come up with the tomb and the dungeon and the monster, and we can scale the monster a couple different levels or whatever, and then maybe like a puzzle that you have to solve to enter the tomb. Something like that would be
That could be pretty cool too.
Yeah.
Now, see, Ben, you're getting carried away.
I know, man. I know.
Just open it up. There's the mum. Let's.
27 pages later, it's like you encounter a pyramid off in the distance.
Exactly. So calm the hell down. Okay. And we'll see you guys next time. Okay?
A mysterious old man from a tavern tells you an ancient prophecy.
And you get a map with a puzzle on it. Stop, and a key. Stop, Ben. Stop.
Bye.
Calm
Bye.
down.
Goodbye. Remember how last time you were like, it's one room, don't get carried away.
Yes. And then it turned into 2 rooms. Then it turned into 3 rooms.
It's like
plus an entrance that you have to get through.
It's like a little
okay.
Yeah, a whole.
So Ben,
there's a whole thing now.
before I show the artwork, tell us what you came up with.
So, what I ended up coming up with was, we had been talking about having it be like this cool, like Egyptian style mummy kind of deal, and it was actually super cool because I was in England and I went to the British Museum.
That's right.
And I saw just like tons of cool mummies and stuff. They have just like the whole second floor. There's like a wing that's just like mummy stuff.
I'm so jealous.
It was so cool. But yeah, it helped me give me some ideas for coming up with cool stuff because I was writing this adventure while I was on that trip. And so basically what I came up with was that you have the Serpent King, and he lives in his name is Set, and he lives in this pyramid complex at the end of the River of Venom, and
that's cool.
Yeah, and he was a man, but all of his stuff was like serpent themed and snake themed, and he was part of this, basically in ancient Egypt where he ruled this huge swath of land. And what we had talked about doing was having this be an adventure that you could put in anywhere into any of your campaigns. So,
because the tomb's set out somewhere.
Yeah. So the way I have it popping up is you can kind of be wherever, but then you can see like these old hieroglyphs written up on the walls. And maybe you can read them, maybe you can't. There's a little story it tells. But you're realizing that this is just like you start to like dig some of the vines and the old stuff away, and you find that there's this old door. And there's a little puzzle in terms of trying to figure out how to get it open. But once you're able to get it open, it brings you down underground into this like big like tomb complex for this guy.
I love it.
And he was the brother of Set. His name was, try to come up with a good Egyptian name for him. I'm not finding it at the moment though. Anyway, it's the brother of Set, and he tried to overthrow him and like take the throne for himself. And so he was imprisoned here and buried here in this tomb underground, and there are guardians down there that are not so much to keep grave robbers out, but to keep him in, right?
Did you say guardians with an S on the end of it?
Okay. There's 2 guardians.
Okay.
That are standing between you and the tomb. And when you're going down there, you can see this thing's really opulent. And if you have some kind of history or anything, then your party will know that even with the traitors, they would bury the royalty with their treasures. So there's treasure here.
Yeah.
But this guy was a traitor, and he's cursed, and he's basically the reason he's a mummy is because he's been doomed to never die.
Oh, okay.
They don't want him to forget his betrayal. They want it to haunt him for eternity. So he's doomed down there, and these guardians are there to keep him from ever escaping. And then you go down there, and you have to fight the guardians and solve a few puzzles, and before you can get into him. And one of the things I wanted to do is because what gets tricky with an old tomb like this, it's like you can't really have living creatures down there because what do they eat? How do they live?
Exactly.
So we needed to have otherworldly stuff. So I feel like one of the things that came up in the British Library was they have the Book of the Dead. And so you go down there and you're going through all the souls of all the dead people, and you have to be judged before Osiris. And weigh your heart against the feather.
A feather, yeah. Yeah. I always thought that was interesting.
Yeah. And so I had the idea of walking through this corridor. Maybe it's like a jagged old rope bridge or something in this big chasm. And when you walk in, there's these torches that light up with this green light. And
we're going to get to that green lighting. Okay, all right.
The green light is magic. And so there's these green torches. If they're just regular torches, then people are just going to be like, oh, it's mood, right? But the green light, and as the lights turn on, you can feel the darkness recede away from you. And so what happens is you take these torches and you're walking, and as you're walking with them, you can almost see fingers in the shadows coming towards you.
Oh, this is.
So
This is why Ben gets paid the big money. Hey guys,
we have 2 Patreon followers right now as of the creation of this video. So we can split that and have $1 each.
Sorry to interrupt you, Ben. Please continue.
But so you're walking through, and the torchlight is the only thing keeping these monsters away. So if you drop the torches, then these demons and shadows and stuff attack you. And
oh, wow.
It doesn't kill you right away. I had the original idea that it would just drag you off into the darkness, but it just saps your energy and drains you. And if it drains you enough, then you get sucked off into the darkness.
Oh, okay.
Carried off by the undead or whatever. But but it's going to be pretty. You're going to have to get that torch back pretty quickly.
Yeah.
But then I like the idea of having people navigate a few things. You have to do a battle. You have to do a descent on a rope. There's a couple things you have to do. You have to jump over a chasm.
Oh, wow. Real Indiana Jones kind of stuff.
Real Indiana Jones kind of stuff.
Like it.
And you have to do it holding onto this torch, or affixing it somehow.
Wearing a suit of armor.
Wearing a suit of armor, holding onto a torch. Or if you want to affix it somewhere. And there's cool things you can do as the DM, where if the guy gets knocked down or he rolls a 1 or something, maybe even if they've got it strapped to their backs or something, it falls off. And you gotta, or it goes out, and you have to relight it quickly before it.
Gotcha.
Before the demons get you. Anyway, so you go through this little dungeon that I wrote up, and that you'll be able to download through the Patreon for both of our followers. And then there's a guardian, and we were.
Oh yeah.
And
the serpent type guardian guy with the golden mask.
Yeah. So we'll put it up on the screen. But Brian painted this amazing. I liked the idea because they had those funeral masks there, and I loved the idea of fighting this thing. So it's the bottom half of a snake, and he's got a khopesh, which is a Egyptian style curved sword, and he's got this big shield, and he's wearing one of these funeral masks. So I love the idea of fighting this thing. It's an otherworldly demon, right? It's not. It's an eternal creature. It's a guardian kind of thing.
Yeah, he's from another world. He's not. He's physical, but he's not from that realm.
Yeah.
So he doesn't need to eat food and use the toilet 3 times a day or. Yeah.
It's the whole room of snakes.
Yeah, exactly. I wasn't going to say it. Ben said it.
I don't think I included that.
It's not in the rule sheet.
But you fight him. But I like the idea of fighting this thing. It's big, and I ran this little adventure.
Yeah, like 10 or 11 feet tall or something like that. Yeah.
I ran this adventure with my D&D group on Wednesdays, and I'll put a picture of it up. But we had our little figures out, and then I just took your sketch of the picture and set it up as the monster that they're fighting. It's just on the table, and the little figures are fighting it. And it was really fun because you were painting the guy while I was running this little...
That's right. I was sending you texts and stuff.
You were sending me texts. Yeah. They killed the thing, and then I was like, oh, here's the finished product. You guys want to see what it looks like now that it's painted?
I love it.
It was awesome.
Yeah. That's called live role-playing.
Yeah. It was amazing. My brother runs the game sometimes, and he's like, man, I want him to draw my D&D campaigns.
We'll talk about that, Clay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, he'll probably be on at some point.
Yes.
But yeah, so you fight the guardian, you defeat him, you get into the tomb, and then it's the mummy and like 2 of his like mummy servants. So you fight those 2 and him, and there's like a snake head behind him carved out of the stone, and it spits out scarab beetles, like a sort of scarab beetles.
Oh, that's
because I saw a lot of really cool like scarab beetle stuff there. And what I learned in the British Library was when I was looking at the scarab beetle exhibits was that they said that those beetles were supposed to be there to like protect you in the afterlife.
Oh, wow.
So
that I did not know.
I didn't know that either. So you always see them, but that's apparently like very centrally like tied to the afterlife in Egyptian culture or ancient.
You learn something new every day.
So that happens, and actually my brother helped me with the idea for this guy when you fight him, because I wanted to make him not just a regular mummy, and he was like, oh, well, there's these kind of mummies, I can't remember what they're called, like the drowned or something like that, the drowning mummy, something along those lines, but it's like an underwater mummy kind of guy. And so what he does...
Never heard of one of those.
Yeah, no, it's like, mummy... pirate mummies basically is where they create it, but like this thing, like if it hits you, it grabs you, and then it like spits a bunch of like salt water on you, and you drown a little bit.
Wow.
And I was like, what if we do that, but it's snake venom?
It's snake venom. Yeah. Oh, see, that's good.
So he
has a poison ability.
Yeah. So if he hits you, he grabs you, and then he just like barfs poison in your face.
I didn't paint the barf in the painting. So
no, it's better. You wouldn't be able to see. It would be a real different painting if you did the barf. That's Viking hell, by the way. Viking heaven, you go to Valhalla and you get to fight forever, and like every day you have a huge battle and you kill everybody.
Yeah.
And kill all your friends, and you go home and everybody wakes up and then goes home and eats dinner. But Viking hell, which is if you died of old age or disease or running away from a battle. You walk through snake venom, or you walk through a river of blood, and snakes spit venom in your face.
Yeah. Well, I think is it Loki chained onto a rock where a snake drips venom on his forehead?
Yep.
Yeah. So
that was what they said earthquakes were.
Oh wow.
Earthquakes were Loki screaming
when his wife didn't catch the cup and had to empty it, and the snake venom dripped onto his head. Oh boy. Who knew that the Egyptians and the Scandinavians are just like that?
Well,
so speaking of hell, Ben, this green light idea I thought was so cool, but it was a nightmare to paint this thing. But here we do have to finish the fight scene. Yeah.
It looks really cool. I haven't seen the final before.
Yeah, I just finished it the other day.
Yeah, the green is cool though.
Yeah, the green makes it look very magical and off-worldy.
Yeah, it's very creepy.
Yeah.
Very creepy and cool. Oops. Creepy in a good way.
So we hope you guys are happy with that too.
Yeah.
I hope you're happy because I spent a long time painting that thing. And a lot of off-color words were used when I was painting away, and it wasn't looking the way I wanted it to. So hopefully in the end, everyone's going to be happy.
When we show the time lapse of it, we'll probably not include the original audio.
Yeah. I don't know if I have a time lapse of this. I think I ran out of the all the chip memory on this one. I think I did this in like a day and a half of staying up till stupid o'clock in the morning in Carson. But I ran out of chips. I ran out of memory, so.
You didn't get mad at me and you were like, I'm not recording this.
What was he thinking with the green torchlight?
What are you doing to me? You're not getting us turned the other way and turn the camera around.
Well, I can't remember, because I was off in the paint zone. So if we have any footage of it, I can't remember if we do or not. So if we have it, we're going to show it to you, and you guys can check it out.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's Mummy Tomb.
I think it sounds fantastic.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty cool. If you go to the Patreon, then there's PDFs for download. They have the whole adventure with all the art. If you're a subscriber, you can also get like the full high-res art of all this game, all these things. So.
Exactly. Yeah. So you guys can print them out, use them in your campaign adventures, or just hang them on your wall and impress your buddies.
Or use them as masks. Wear them on your face
Cut 'em
for
out.
Halloween.
Okay. All right. We're getting carried away.
Barf venom on your friends.
Barf venom on your We'll see you guys next time. Thanks a lot.